Before guide rails installing, please making foundation clear without extraneous matter. Next, install guide rails. Prepare 7 PCS rails for 14 meters foundation. Place the cushion blocks on the foundation in turn. Place guide rails on the foundation in turn by crane. When placing the guide rails, please note that the side with rack groove faces outward. Adjust the placement of cushion blocks according to the position of guide rails. This is the screw for adjusting the horizontal height of guide rails. This is the screw for adjusting the lateral position of guide rails. Both ends of cushion blocks are covered with stress blocks and fix them with screws, with washers and spring spacers. Pay attention to no gap between the rails when adjusting. Start to adjust the straightness and levelness of guide rails after all of them are placed, measuring the horizontal height of both ends of each guide rail by ruler and the level gauge instruments, making a record of 14 height data for 14 meters rails. It can be seen from the data that the height difference is 6 millimeters. If the difference in height does not exceed 6 millimeters, no need to add cushion blocks. The next step is to adjust the straightness of guide rails. Firstly, fix the wire in one end of guide rails by immobilization tools. Pay attention to tighten the line. The two ends should be propped open with matter of about 5 millimeters thickness. Adjust the horizontal height of guide rails one by one based on the previously recorded data. Adjust the lateral position of guide rails one by one according to the distance from the rails. The whole adjustment process takes a lot of time. Please complete it carefully and patiently. After adjustment is completed, the next step is to weld the cushion block. Weld the cushion block on the foundation. After welding, record the horizontal height of guide rails again. There are 14 data. Adjust the screws on both sides of guide rails to ensure that the surface is horizontal. At the same time, making the final height adjustment according to the second height recorded. In the case of ensuring straightness, the front and back heights must be 0.5 millimeters less. Until now, the guide rail on one side installed and adjusted. The guide rail on parallel ensures a lateral spacing distance of 3200 millimeters. Do the same process till installation completed. The following is installing the rack on guide rails. Each rack length 1 meter, a total of 26 PCS racks are required for a 14-meter track. Attention that first rack installing distance 500 millimeters from the top of guide rails, fixing screws on the corresponding place. Other racks must be combined together when linking between racks. Rack installation completed. carefully place the mainframe on the guide rails with the crane. The small pulley on the left clamps guide rails. Adjust the outer eccentric bearing. Ensure that there is no gap between the eccentric bearing and the track and that it does not affect the movement. Install and fix the water tank of plasma power supply on the reserved position of the rack. Install the support frame. It is let out from the lower opening of the main frame through the support frame. Install the conduit and a sliding wheel every 2 meters. Connect a tow at the 380V power cord. Ground wire. Connected tow at the trachea. The 220V power cord is directly connected to the electrical cabinet, connected to the inlet and outlet water pipe between the cooling tank and the plasma power supply, connected to the water tank control line and plasma control line respectively. Install the drive motor. The motor gear is aligned with the rail rack by means of this screw. Connected to the control line of the drive motor. Note that the bottom of the motor gear will not touch this screw. The same is true for motor installation on the other side. Lower the baffle of the 2 limit switches on the spindle side. At the same time, the block can be welded at the suitable locations at both ends of the track. Install the guard cover.